The day she walked out, suitcases in hand and a smirk on her lips, she said, "I'm upgrading Vikram, you'll never be half the man he is." I stood in our empty apartment, her words cutting deeper than any knife. 3 years later, I'm sipping coffee in my penthouse, a self-made millionaire, while she and her superior guy are knocking on my door begging for scraps. How did it come to this? This is the story of betrayal, downfall, and the sweet, cold taste of justice. Vikram Mehra was never one for grand gestures. At 32, he was a software engineer with a stable but unremarkable job at a mid-tier tech firm in Bangalore. His life was predictable, coding by day, Netflix by night, and weekends spent with his wife, Priya, planning a future they both dreamed of. A modest home, a family, maybe a dog. But Priya's dreams were bigger, shinier, and Vikram didn't see the cracks forming until it was too late. It was a humid July evening when Priya dropped the bomb. They were at dinner, her favorite restaurant, celebrating their 5th anniversary. Vikram had saved for months to buy her a delicate gold bracelet, nothing extravagant but heartfelt. She barely glanced at it. Instead, she pushed her plate away and said, "I'm leaving you, Vikram. I've met someone else. Someone better." The words hit like a sucker punch. "Better," he stammered. Priya's eyes were cold, her voice steady. "Rohan is everything you're not, ambitious, charismatic, successful. He's going places, Vikram, and I'm going with him." She slid off her wedding ring, left it on the table, and walked out. Vikram sat there, the bracelet still in its velvet box, the restaurant's chatter fading into a dull roar. Rohan Malhotra was a name Vikram had heard before, a flashy entrepreneur who'd made a fortune in crypto startups, always in the news for his lavish parties and high-profile deals. Priya had met him at a corporate event Vikram couldn't attend. Within weeks, she was gone, moving into Rohan's sprawling villa in Koramangala. The divorce was swift, clinical. Priya didn't ask for alimony, she didn't need to. Rohan was her golden ticket. Vikram spiraled. He quit his job, unable to focus, and spent months in a haze of whiskey and self-pity. Friends tried to pull him out, but the humiliation burned. Social media didn't help. Priya's posts with Rohan, sipping champagne in Dubai or posing on a yacht in Goa, were a constant jab. Vikram's savings dwindled, and he moved into a cramped one-bedroom apartment, wondering where he'd gone wrong. The turning point came on a rainy night, 6 months after the divorce. Vikram stumbled across an old notebook from college, filled with ideas for an app he'd never pursued, a platform to connect freelancers with small businesses, streamlining payments and contracts. It was a dream he'd shelved for the safe job Priya had encouraged. Staring at the pages, something snapped. "If she thinks I'm nothing," he muttered, "I'll show her what I can be." He threw himself into the project. Days blurred into nights as he coded, networked, and pitched to investors. He took freelance gigs to pay the bills, living on instant noodles and determination. By sheer grit, he launched Connect Sphere * within a year. The app filled a gap in the market, and word spread fast. Small businesses loved its simplicity, freelancers loved its reliability. By the end of year 2, ConnectSphere had 500,000 users and a Series A funding round that valued it at $10 million. Vikram, once the inferior husband, was now pulling in over $500,000 a year as CEO. Meanwhile, Priya's fairy tale was unraveling. Rohan's charm masked a darker side. His crypto empire, built on hype and risky bets, was a house of cards. He'd leveraged everything, his villa, cars, even Priya's savings, on a new coin that tanked spectacularly. Investors sued, creditors circled, and Rohan's friends vanished. Priya, who'd quit her marketing job to live as his trophy girlfriend, found herself broke, humiliated, and tethered to a man who'd lied about everything. Vikram learned the details through a mutual friend. Rohan had cheated on Priya with multiple women, squandered her inheritance from her late father, and left her with nothing but debt. They were living in a rented flat now, dodging calls from loan sharks. Priya's Instagram, once a showcase of luxury, was dormant. Vikram felt a pang of pity, but it was fleeting. She'd made her choice. Then came the knock. It was a crisp December morning, 3 years after the divorce. Vikram was in his new penthouse, a sleek space with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Bangalore's skyline. ConnectSphere had just gone public, and his net worth was climbing faster than he could track. The doorbell chimed, and there they were, Priya and Rohan, looking like shadows of their former selves. Priya's designer dresses were gone, replaced by a worn kurta. Rohan's tailored suits had been swapped for a faded shirt, his eyes bloodshot. Vikram, Priya said, her voice trembling. We need your help. He let them in, more out of curiosity than kindness. They sat on his leather couch, looking out of place. Priya's eyes darted to the view, the marble floors, the awards on his shelf. Rohan spoke first, his bravado gone. I messed up, man. The market crashed, and I lost everything. We're in deep with some bad people. If you could loan us a lakh or two, we'd pay you back. Priya nodded, tears welling. I know I hurt you, Vikram. I was wrong. You were always good to me, and I threw it away. Please, we have nowhere else to turn. Vikram leaned back, studying them. The man who'd been better than him was now a broken shell, and the woman who'd crushed his heart was pleading for mercy. He felt a strange calm, not anger or triumph, but clarity. You left because I wasn't enough, he said. You chose him because he was superior. Why should I help you now? Priya sobbed, but Rohan's face hardened. You owe her, man. You were married. That means something. Vikram laughed, a sharp, bitter sound. Owe her, you both made your choices. I rebuilt my life from nothing while you two gambled yours away. I don't owe you a dime. He stood, opening the door. Get out and don't come back. Priya's face crumpled, but Rohan grabbed her arm, muttering, Let's go. As they left, Vikram felt a weight lift. He'd spent years haunted by Priya's words. But now, standing in the empire he'd built, he was free. Months later, Vikram heard through the grapevine that Priya and Rohan had split. She was working odd jobs, trying to rebuild, while Rohan had skipped town, leaving more debts in his wake. Vikram didn't care. He was too busy scaling ConnectSphere globally, mentoring young entrepreneurs, and for the first time dating someone new, a kind, grounded woman who saw him for who he was, not what he could buy. The penthouse was quiet now, save for the hum of the city below. Vikram stood at the window, coffee in hand, watching the sunrise. He'd lost love, trust, and years of his life, but he'd gained something greater himself. And that, he knew, was worth more than any fortune. If this story of betrayal, redemption, and triumph resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more tales of real-life drama and comeback stories. Drop a comment. Would you have helped Priya and Rohan, or sent them packing like Vikram? Let's talk.